Okay, we're here in New York City with Philadelphia rock band and my first and best introduction to the Philadelphia rock music scene, Velvet Rouge. Like you said earlier, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I experienced at your performance at Johnny Brenda's. No shit. Couple quick questions. Number one, what's up with the name change from Zoe the Band to Velvet Rouge?
Oh, that's good. Saw me, guys? Okay.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, it was Zoe the Band.
I love it. Oh my, wait, that's so funny. I forgot about that. So we really wanted something that resembled the story of the band. We wanted it to be about fighting the man, focusing on what's behind the velvet curtain, really getting to know the sound of Velvet Rouge for the people who come and see us play. And I've always...
Of course.
Thank you. I've always felt like we are a band that exudes the color red. It's very sexy, it's very dark and mysterious, and I think Velvet Rouge is the perfect name for that.
Okay, cool. Second question, going back to what I experienced at Johnny Brenda's. You're one of the few bands I've seen, it's just like, I don't know whether it's an alternate state of consciousness or just like a whole new level, but when you're on stage, it was like, to say energy was the very least, it was like you just, very hard to describe. How important is it, like the band, the crowd easily fed off it and hopefully get back to you. How important is that for when you perform, for the crowd to really get into it and like feed off your energy and then give it back to you?
So also, I have always have something to say, but...
Yeah, it definitely makes us play better when the crowd's feeling it. Yeah, Johnny Brenda's just the best crowd ever.
Yeah, man, when it comes to a situation like that, it's like getting the energy put out. So it's like if you can bring out the energy on stage, it comes back to you from the crowd, you know? You gotta get the positive response going, you know?
I totally agree. I think that the audience is the most important part of every show that we do. I think that if they're having fun, we're having fun. And we can also tell, I feel like, if the audience isn't vibing with the song or isn't like feeling that type of way that we're performing. And I love that because it really tells us what we need to do better, what we need to do differently.
Okay, now I want to get into a little bit behind the scenes because as an indie creator, there's a lot of work that goes into, no matter what you do, especially with bands, it's great to see them on stage, but there's a ton of work that actually goes into it that people don't realize. With your songwriting, like, not really where do you get the inspiration, but how do you come up with the ideas for like new songs and rehearsing and everything? It's like the hard part of it.
I think that because we're all seasoned musicians, we've all been doing it for a bit, I feel like at least it comes very naturally, and it's almost something that musicians feel in their innermost self. At least that's how I've experienced it. Our writing is all very different. So sometimes it's just me, or like with some lyrics, and that's how we start. Sometimes it's a bass line. Sometimes it's... Yeah, Andrew started. He did some last couple of songs.
Yeah, it just starts with a riff, and then I bring it to them, and then we develop it further if we vibe with it.
There's not much of an ego. It's like, if we hear a good idea, we'll work on it.
Yeah, for sure. Buddy, you have anything?
You guys are hitting it off. I don't have to say anything.
Just stand there and look good, but everything's cool. I'm sticking with the behind the scenes. We've been in like the age of the indies for a while. How difficult is it, truly, from like your perspective, to start getting your name out, getting more and bigger venues, and it's a lot more than just social media.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. I think that the one thing that I've found that was never easy for me before and is now is to just tell people I'm in a band. And I feel like the guys do this too. That is like now a part of who I am, a part of my life and the guys, and making it our core, I think, has really allowed us to constantly be making new fans no matter where we are. But I think that we get the most fans when we have a live show. I mean, that's truly how it is. So anytime we can perform, we're doing it. And we're going to really pump it up because that's how we find we get the most true and honest fans.
Okay. Come on, guys.
Come on, buddy.
I usually have a lot to say. I don't really...
How do you feel? What did I say?
What was the question?
The question was, we've been in the age of indies for a while. How difficult is it to be an indie band and do, it's a lot more than just like social media to get the name out?
That's really, that is a hard question, actually. to me, it's really just making the connections with people, being exposed to new crowds. It really helps just like how quickly this seems to be moving in Philly. Like with Brian Mateer and Amy Morrissey, like they've been a really big help. Just being attached to that name has brought other people, like I think, are drawn to our music. But it really is like shows. You have to network. And anyway, I'm terrible at social media, so I'm like the worst person to ask.
But it is more than social media for sure, like you said. Like, it's very much every single aspect, so it is difficult. But I think that the difference is that when you have it now, and when you don't, you don't. And I think we have it. That's why we're doing so well and growing so fast. And why we're in New York today. I'm so excited.
And I'm actually gonna throw you off a little bit on this one.
Okay.
And I've experienced this with other bands where you perform in a restaurant and it's more like background music than. What are the challenges of like doing a situation like that where, okay, you're at a restaurant, you're at a bar or something, and you're just there for kind of like the background music? How difficult is that?
Joe and I do a bunch of that stuff, and I don't want to sound conceited or something, but for some reason people are really drawn to the band. Like, there is some kind of electricity that no matter if we're supposed to be background music, I feel like we never feel like we're background music.
Either way, I just keep my head down like the same way.
Joe doesn't change. So I found that we actually have gained real fans from doing background music type shows.
She brings like a big presence pretty much at any of those shows, and I think that's what sets you aside from just a background, you know, at a restaurant. As long, like even today, for example, was at the coffee place.
Yeah.
People were there just for coffee, it seems like, but we had a lot of heads turned just because like, we made.
I heard they're even like everybody's screaming in that crowd. And the way you just like that small of a stage, you just like moved around on it. I'm like, this is what an acoustic, what I'm used to in Lehigh Valley. This is what even when you're doing acoustic, this is what what you should be doing. Final question. I know you have to get going. Believe me, I checked Uber to see how much it would cost me to get from here to Allentown just to see your show tonight. Love you guys, but not worth $300 for Uber.
Totally fine.
Now, I just want to get behind the scenes real quick again. With everything that people don't think of, merchandising, and that, like even merchandising, coming up with ideas for like T-shirts and everything, which I love. I got compliments on the one I bought. Again, difficulties and how do you come up with those ideas to try and set you apart from other people?
I think it's about surrounding yourself with other creative people. So we don't rely on ourselves to come up with all the ideas for cover designs or photos or graphic art. Like, we really know people who are our age, who are hungry, want to make cool music videos, want to do things that are out of the norm, because we don't want to be a normal band. I always joke with the guys, like, I never want to have a relationship music video. Like, I want it to be conceptual, like exciting, and same with our merch. So it's about finding the people that believe in the same vision and want that too.
Okay, and I always try to end an interview with this question. Advice to other indies out there, whether you're in your teens, whether you're 55 years old, I've always wanted to, to do this my entire life. Maybe I'm too old. There's, advice to other indies out there, regardless of what they do.
Advice to other indies, I would say, about a year old, come on.
I didn't bring it up.
I would say this is actually what I always tell people. You just have to start by starting. You just have to get started in any way, in any form, in any capacity. It's just about starting what you're doing, no matter if that is just shaking someone's hand, writing your first song, or just singing in the shower. Like, it doesn't even matter. Anything is starting, and I think that people just get afraid to try it even a tad bit. And if you don't try, then you're never gonna be able to do it. So
don't be afraid to express yourself with it too. Try not to conform to everything just to break through. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the years is just networking with people. I mean, that's, if you want to make any kind of waves, you just have to know people. I regret a little bit of that. I was in a punk band for years, and we just showed up for the party. That was it. But we didn't socialize with people. And I think by doing that, you surround yourself with creative people, and you go from there.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. And I just got to grab a quick photo. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
quick photo.